Hey traders, Mike Katz here. Looking at the SPYs, we had a nice bounce couple of the days, and wow, what a move. Today was a gap up, pull back, close strong again. And down here we had this nice anomaly. I did a lot of short covering on this day. I covered my semis, I covered Tesla, I covered quite a bit. And next day got a nice gap up, covered some more of my shorts, and then pretty much been flat a couple of days coming in. So Tesla, I'll mention real quick. Where's Tesla? I took it off my list. I'm going to probably do a post about Tesla, why I no longer want to be short the stock ever again. And it ended up being a coincidence where on this day I covered coming in on Monday, and then next couple of days it heads higher. But I'll do a quick post about why I don't want to be short Tesla, but I'm flat in that. SPY, and then CRM today, that was pretty good. We didn't get the follow through that I was looking for. CRM pretty much gapped and went sideways. I traded this yesterday in after hours. It didn't get above my magic number of 160-ish right here. So I faded it short on this pullback. And then today, it just gaps and holds. I went long here, a lot of sideways, almost got stopped out at the lows, but then it started grinding back, so I got out of that. And then ROKU. ROKU was my main watch today. I was thinking maybe trading some RWLK, but I didn't have one trade in it. Just borrows were tough. It just looked like they dropped an offering pre-market, and I know that's when these things grind back pre-market offerings, it just becomes a whole mess. So I stayed away from this one, and I focused on ROKU. Where's ROKU? There it is. So this thing has been a monster. Got an upgrade. This $100 level is definitely one that's been in my mind, been looking to play there for a while. And today we got a gap up, all-time highs, really strong, and I wanted to be long. I missed the early entry right over here, went pretty quick, but I ended up getting involved and adding at 100, and that trade ended up failing. You know what? Let me bring up this image that I have here. This is what I posted on Twitter. It kind of explains how I trailed my stops. So I got in here and I added on the $100 break, and I trailed my stop to below this pivot, and then that one got stopped out, and that was a loss. So I kind of broke even on the initial position. I lost on the add, and I exited the trade once we got below here. And then I thought if it's going to keep going lower, it'll go lower, but then it just came back. So I put it on a feeler starter, giving it some space, and then it came in and looked like it did a trap here, basically trapping the shorts, squeezing out the longs, or shaking out the longs, that is. And then so I added a little bit more, again, thinking this is all-time highs. The shorts are probably in bad shape, and I want to see if I can get a starter going to add into later on. So then you can see that we had a nice move up here to this area, and then pulls back and fails to make a lower low, and does another FU move right over here, at which point I start getting bigger, and now I can trail my stop versus this low, and then versus this low once we get above here. So I had a pretty decent sized position because my stop was much closer here than it was initially, right? So I was able to get bigger, trimmed into the $100 move, right? Trimmed into this morning high and $100 level. So that's going to be resistance now, trimmed into that. And then when we basically here, there was a 100,000 share offer at 99.99, and I sold some more right below that, thinking if that offer holds, then I will end up getting, out of most of it and then trail out of the rest. But if it gets taken out, I placed a stop to buy back everything right above there at $100, thinking if that 100,000 share offer lifts, this thing can blow its top off and really take off. So I added back when it broke 100, and then when it held above 100, I added again. And then at that point, I felt I want to try to just trail and see what we could get out of it. It's all-time highs. It broke 100. who knows where it could go, maybe 110, 120. I really had high hopes for this trade, but it ended up kind of stalling out and just having a lot of hesitation moves. So I sold a quarter into this 101, wanted to see how it pulls back. I was going to add it back on a retest of 100, never made it back there, and then just end up trailing my stop afterwards. So every time this thing makes a new high, I'll trail it to there. Once we get another new high here, then I can trade versus here. As you guys could see based on this yellow line, that's just how I ended up trailing my stop. And I think exits are really important. You guys have heard me talk about this numerous times. Yes, entries are very important. You don't want to have a bad entry, but if we're talking about a momentum trade, and this is for momentum only, if you're trading mean reversion, then absolutely entries are really important, because if you're getting in after it already reverted and most of the move has taken place, then yes, of course, entries make a huge difference. But if you're trading a momentum trend following type of a strategy, what's important is being on the right side of the trade, not necessarily where you get in. I mean, in hindsight, you could look at this chart. If you're in a chart that's going, from left bottom corner to right top corner, it's very difficult to get in a spot where you would have screwed it up if you just have proper stop placement, if you just have proper exits. So, I'm not saying just chase and get in anywhere, but I do think that exits are a lot more important than entries. So here I lost 1R on this trade on the first one, and then on the second one was able to get a lot bigger because the stop was that much tighter. I added when I was able to tighten up my stop a little bit, and then this one ended up being an 8R winner, total of +7 for the day in ROKU, and it feels great whenever you catch a nice trend and you're able to just let it keep working. It feels great. The hard part is during the trade, it's it's not easy, right? Just watching all that open P&L and not, like when you're here, right? It's breaking out, and then you're sitting here at 101, and your stop is at 99. That's $2 of open P&L. It's very hard to sit through a pullback, right? But I feel that unless I can give it the space to have some sort of a pullback, so that once it gets above that high, then I know that this pullback is over. Then I can move my stop, as you can see by this yellow line. Then I can move my stop to below this low. I can't move my stop until we break highs. So sitting through these pullbacks, that's difficult because you don't know. This thing can pull back all the way to here, right? And then you end up breaking even on the trade. But I think in order to get the bigger winners, got to be able to sit through those pullbacks. It brings down the win rate, but this could have turned into a 20R winner. Doesn't happen often, but you need those in order to make big money. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll be at my desk for another hour or so, and then I got to head to a meeting. So once I post this, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up on Twitter, and I'll try to respond. Thanks for watching. This is Mike Katz with 7 Points Capital.